He didn't just break the system, he broke the silence of the richest man in the world. In just 48 hours after his 12th birthday, Leo Harrison's life changed forever. On a humid, oppressive summer night in a small New York apartment, the only light came from a flickering computer screen. His fingers moved fast, eyes focused, heartbeat steady. Outside, the city slept. Inside, a secret awakened, one that would challenge power, wealth, and the illusion of control itself.
Leo Harrison was 12, a quiet boy with messy hair and an old laptop that once belonged to his late mother. He lived with his grandmother, Margaret, in a crumbling New York apartment that smelled of medicine and dust. Margaret, a retired nurse, spent her days battling illness and bills. Each prescription meant another sleepless night for Leo, listening to her coughs echo through thin walls. He wanted to help her, but what could a child do when the world had already decided he was powerless? At school, teachers called him distracted, though in reality he was solving coding puzzles that most adults couldn't understand. He had taught himself everything from online forums and borrowed manuals, building programs that felt like worlds of his own, places where money, pain, and loneliness didn't exist. One evening, as he checked their overdue rent notice, a headline flashed across his cracked screen. Omnicorp reports record profits under billionaire Elias Thorne. The article showed Thorne smiling, surrounded by gold and glass, a man untouched by struggle. Leo stared at that face and felt something inside him harden. The company that built digital empires could afford his grandmother's medicine 1,000,000 times over. Yet people like her were invisible. Desperation turned into resolve. He opened his code editor, heartbeat steady, mind clear. If the system was built to ignore them, he would make it notice. That night, Leo decided to test his skills, not on a small target, but on Omnicorp itself. A week after the breach, Leo sat in a dim internet cafe, surrounded by the hum of old computers and the smell of burnt coffee. His pulse still raced every time he thought about what he had done. That's when a man in a tailored suit entered, completely out of place among the flickering screens and tired faces. He moved with quiet authority, his gaze sharp, his smile calculated. "Leo Harrison?" he asked softly. Leo froze. No one should have known his name here. The man introduced himself as Daniel Hayes, head of security for Omnicorp. Leo's stomach dropped. It was over. The police, juvenile detention, headlines. But Hayes didn't raise his voice or show anger. Instead, he slid a sleek envelope across the table. Inside were documents, a full scholarship to an elite private school, a monthly stipend, and a promise to cover all his grandmother's medical bills. Hayes leaned closer, voice smooth like glass. "You have two paths, kid, the juvenile detention center or the future of technology. Which one do you want?" Leo's hands trembled. "Why me? You have an entire team." Hayes smiled. "Because your code is art, Leo, and we don't arrest artists, we fund them." It sounded impossible, surreal, a dream or a trap. Leo looked at the offer again, his grandmother's name printed clearly under medical coverage. His chest tightened. He couldn't tell if he was being rescued or recruited, but either way, his life had just been rewritten by a stranger in a suit.
Leo sat by his grandmother's bedside, the room dim except for the soft glow of her heart monitor. She smiled weakly, unaware that the medicine keeping her alive was running out. The pharmacy had called that morning. Payment was due by tomorrow. He stared at the offer Hayes had given him, the scholarship papers folded neatly beside the old laptop where his code still flickered like a silent confession. His grandmother's voice echoed in his mind. "Always earn what you have, Leo. Never take shortcuts." Those words had guided him his whole life, but now, faced with losing her, They felt like chains. Was morality still pure when the price of being good was watching someone you loved disappear? He opened his terminal, fingers hovering above the keyboard, torn between guilt and love. Omnicorp represented everything wrong with the world: greed, control, corruption. Yet they were offering him salvation. His heart ached as he imagined her smile, her trembling hand brushing his hair. He couldn't lose her. Not now. Not after everything. Taking a deep breath, Leo typed a single encrypted message to Hayes. "I'll do it." From that moment, the boy known as Leo Harrison disappeared. In his place, a new name was born: Ghost. The 12-year-old hacker who sold his soul to save the only person who ever truly believed in him.
The next morning, a black car took Leo to a place he'd never seen before. A glass penthouse high above the city. It looked like paradise, but felt like a cage. The walls gleamed too perfectly. The air smelled too clean. Every surface reflected his small figure back at him, reminding him he didn't belong. Hayes called it a safe house. But safety had a price: silence, secrecy, and invisible eyes. Cameras hung in every corner, always humming softly. Hayes came and went, always taking his calls in different rooms. The few times he smiled, it never reached his eyes. Leo noticed something strange. The security cameras seemed to be turned toward him, not the doors. Every move, every breath, every keystroke was being watched. He spent hours buried in code, running system checks for Omnicorp. One night, while scanning an old server marked Legacy Data, he found something odd: an encrypted folder hidden deep inside. The file's name? Attendance Records 2015. He decrypted it, expecting numbers or logs. But inside was a list of names, employees long gone. At the bottom, one name was highlighted in red: Amelia Harrison. His chest tightened. His mother's name, the same woman he had never known, whose absence shaped every empty space in his life. What was she doing on Omnicorp's records? And why was her name marked like a warning? For the first time, Leo realized this wasn't just about hacking anymore. It was personal.
Leo couldn't breathe as he stared at the name glowing on the screen: Amelia Harrison. His mother. The woman his grandmother said died in an accident when he was a baby. But why would Omnicorp have her records hidden, encrypted, and marked in red? The truth pressed on his chest like a weight he couldn't lift. He opened the encrypted chat and typed, hands trembling. Who was Amelia Harrison? Minutes passed, then Hayes replied, "Where did you see that name?" Leo's heart pounded. "On your server," he wrote. "She was my mother, wasn't she?" Silence stretched, cold and endless. When Hayes finally responded, his voice through the encrypted call was low, uneasy. "Leo, listen to me carefully. Your mother wasn't just an employee. She was investigating something she shouldn't have." Leo's throat tightened. "What do you mean?" Hayes hesitated. Before Omnicorp became what it is now, Amelia discovered internal data manipulation, false reports designed to bankrupt smaller competitors. She tried to expose it. Then she vanished. Leo's stomach turned. He felt anger, grief, and disbelief fuse into one burning emotion. So, Thorne didn't hire me because I'm talented. He hired me because I'm her son. Hayes didn't deny it. Thorne thinks your mother left behind hidden files, something only you can access. The room seemed to close in around him. The penthouse, the cameras, the silence, none of it was protection. It was a prison,
built on her mother's unfinished fight for the truth.
Leo knew there was only one way out: expose the truth. The company that stole his mother's life had to fall, no matter the cost. Late at night, while Hayes believed he was running security scans, Leo began building a plan. He encrypted everything, using code only he could break, and created a multi-step program that would send Omnicorp's hidden files to a journalist he'd found online, someone known for revealing corporate corruption. Every keystroke felt like defiance, every breath like borrowed time. When he finally triggered the upload, alarms blared through the penthouse. Hayes stormed in, eyes wild. "What did you do, Leo?" he shouted. Leo didn't answer. The countdown on the screen was already ticking down, 30 seconds until the truth went public. Hayes lunged, grabbing his arm. "You'll ruin everything." Leo struggled, his small frame pressed against the desk. "You already did," he spat, slamming his palm onto the final key. The system surged with light. Within minutes, the files hit the journalist's inbox. The leak went live. News outlets exploded with headlines. Elias Thorne's empire began to crumble. Investigations, arrests, chaos. Omnicorp's stocks plummeted overnight. Weeks later, Leo and his grandmother moved quietly to a small town by the coast. Her medicine arrived paid in full, no sender listed, but Leo suspected the truth: a rival CEO seizing Thorne's fall. Still, Leo didn't care about power anymore. He had done what his mother couldn't, freed the truth from its digital cage.
Leo was no longer the scared boy who had once typed in the dark, begging the world to notice him. He had seen what power did to people, how greed corrupted everything it touched. Now he understood that real strength wasn't in breaking systems, but in rebuilding them with purpose. He stood by the window of their small coastal home, watching the sun rise over quiet waves. The world finally felt still. On his desk sat the powerful gaming rig that had started it all, the machine that once carried both his desperation and his hope. Without hesitation, he picked up a hammer and brought it down. The glass shattered, sparks flickering like dying stars. From its fragments, he built something new. A simple laptop, modest but pure. This time his code would protect, not exploit. Leo joined small nonprofit groups, using his skills to defend hospitals, schools, and charities from cyber attacks. Each success felt like redemption. Before shutting down one night, he sent a final encrypted email to the journalist who had exposed Omnicorp. It contained no attachments, no secrets, only a message signed G. The biggest vulnerability in any system isn't the code, it's the greed of the people writing it. Never stop searching for the truth. Then he closed the laptop, the screen fading to black, and for the first time in years, he felt free.
Leo showed us that being a hero has nothing to do with age or wealth. It's about courage, the kind that burns quietly, even when the world tries to silence it. With nothing but a keyboard and conviction, he faced a giant and won. His story reminds us that truth is the most powerful weapon of all. Would you have taken the deal? Tell me in the comments. Like this video, share it with a friend who loves thrilling stories, and subscribe to Access Denied for more tales of rebellion, genius, and justice. Remember, the line between a criminal and a visionary is often just one choice. Until next time, stay curious, stay brave, and never stop questioning the system.